planning.
It is not without cause that Comprachicos is often compared to PSYOP, a branch of the military regarded for its employment of unconventional and nonviolent methods of a mostly interpersonal and intellectual nature to steer and influence a population toward a particular way of thinking. Within the context of PSYOP, however, the practice may be considered insidious and controversial, as it relates most often to propaganda. Whereas the cryptophilanthropic approach involves shifting the public and its trends ever so subtly toward healthier standards of living, as determined by our modern standards of psychology and biology, and has no connection to any extant ideology. We must work to shift the collective desires, associations, tolerances, and aspirations of mankind, so as to allow for a new dawn of understanding and potency. This goes beyond creating a superficial influence and calls us to tackle all things at the root, upon which we shall conceive of new values, new associations, and a new paradigm withal. It is a mournful fact that so many of our words and ideals have been hollowed out in time through misuse and commodification. And so to speak of shifting definitions, it could just as easily be said that we are attempting to restore the weight and value to our most fundamental concepts, like that of life itself, within a world which ignorantly and pathologically glorifies resignation and death. We will fill the political offices and media corporations with those who actually value humanity and its developmental potential, and aren't there holding your welfare in their hands simply because they chose the most prestigious job from some collegiate drop-down menu. We will shift definitions and public opinion therewith. And that is not to connote some diabolical act, although it is true that most people taking on such aims and means do so for nefarious and self-serving purposes, and therefore it may seem strange to see an organization or collective doing so in an attempt to actually uplift human civilization. Even as this process or processes may often entail and necessitate the undermining of the extant standards of society, let it go without saying that I do not condone violence or extremism of any sort. And while I do love a good bit of trickster play, I do not condone dishonest behaviors and methods in the achievement of honest ends. Above all, I seek to encourage and motivate an unconfident population, believing that anyone at all can supplant the failed leaders of this society and help to establish a new standard of health and humanity, to deplete the sphere of nihilism and fill all individuals with the wonder of this existence which goes on within and all around them, to lessen the stakes associated with risk and exploration, which are already so dangerous in their own right, to tackle the problem as deep down near the root as possible, creating for a more humane and self-aware population, so that the psychological and emotional well-being of our species becomes and remains a topic of interest, a priority, a talking point, a conscious focus of the world at large. When society does not reflect these ideals, the ones elected to lead us have failed at their duty and must be supplanted by those who take the responsibility as they should. Ambitious though it may be, I do not understand how anyone could make the claim that it is beyond our means. Beyond the means of the individual, perhaps, but certainly not a collective working in cooperation. Everything is already set up for such a society. The difficult part has been taken care of. We have the resources and the technology and the competence as a species to enact all this and more, having achieved a level of connectivity as such that our ancestors could never have fathomed. The wrong persons have simply taken the podium. Wrong in that they have chosen to use their position to serve themselves. Wrong in that they have chosen to glorify inane and mindless pursuits. Wrong in that they have chosen to manufacture desires over solutions. Wrong in that they have chosen to use their position to sow discord and dissension among the population. Wrong in that they have imprisoned us within a limiting paradigm from which we cannot question, wonder, or create. And if we can supplant these failed leaders, we will know the opportunity to establish a more conscious society valuing higher principles, not dependent on greed and fear and faith, but on respect, responsibility, artistry, and awareness withal.